How can we draw a pivot chart based on our pivot table? In previous tutorials, we talked about the pivot table and how we can implement on our data. In this tutorial, we are going to talk about the pivot chart and we try to implement a pivot chart based on our pivot table as quickly as possible in Microsoft Excel, which is another powerful analytical tool for business analytics. Welcome to another tutorial about Microsoft Excel. Let's get started. This is the data that we have, and we are going to talk about how can we implement the pivot chart on our data in Microsoft Excel. As you know, we emphasized in previous video that whenever you want to work with data in Microsoft Excel, it's better to convert it to the table in order to use the features of Microsoft Excel that we have for tables. To do that, we have to get into the Insert tab and then click on Table, and then we can make our table based on the data range that we have. Another way to do that is use the Control T short key actually. After that, we have our table and we can change the name of that in order to be more appropriate for our data, which we can call here our table order. The next step is to actually is similar to the ways that we had for pivot table. We have to go to Insert tab again, and here we click on pivot table, and as you know, the new window is open for us. We want to have our pivot table in the new sheet, so we put this item exactly new worksheet, and about the data range exactly it is the same that we want. It is our table which we called order. Then we click on OK, and we come to this famous page that you are completely familiar with that. As you know, here the right hand of this sheet is related to pivot table fields, that you have all the fields from your data, and you can put in one of these four categories from filter, columns, rows, and values. The first step to draw your pivot chart is that you have to think what kinds of chart you want. And then based on the chart that you are going to have, you have to draw its pivot table as easy as you know that we talked about that. And then in the last step, you can have your pivot chart. So up to the first step is exactly like what we had about pivot table. Imagine that we want to analyze the sales of category, for example, in the pie chart. To do that, we should first make our pivot table. As you see, I drag the category in the rows and then the sales in the values. This is our pivot table. After that, for having our pivot chart, we have to go to the Insert tab, and as you can see here, there is the icon pivot chart. We click on that, and after that we have all charts that we want. For example, here we want to show the each category's sale in the form of pie chart. We click on our desirable diagram, and then we will have our diagram. When you click on your diagram here in the format, actually in the design tab, you have different design format for your data that you can change them based on your favor. For example, we keep this one, and let me make it a little bigger. Whatever you want to do, for example, in terms of adding chart title or legend or data labels, you can click on this positive icon on the right of the diagram, and then click on data label, and as you can see I have the data label, and I can even change the position of my data labels here. And of course you can do something more. Click on data labels. Here in the label options there are different options that you can have in terms of presenting the value on your pie chart. For example, here I don't want to have the exact value of sales, and just I want to compare the sales in different category. Therefore I put the percentage of them, and I want to see the category name on this diagram, and as you can see I have this. For other for example options, you can come here and change about your diagram, but the basic and the foundation of pivot chart is exactly based on your pivot table. And if you can analyze your data in terms of what kinds of reports you are looking for, then you can have your pivot table, and in preparation for a pivot table you can have your pivot chart. This was a really easy example. Let's see another example with more detail. Imagine that I want to analyze the sale of each furniture even more than this. For example, imagine that I want to analyze another feature along with the category. Segments, for example. I put the segment exactly under the category, and as you know we have the hierarchical presentation for our data, in which by clicking on positive icon I can go through each category in terms of the amount of sale that we had in different segments, and as you know there are 3 different segments here. Now I want to plot these data on the visualization that we have here. One way it was you go through the insert tab. Another way is exactly here in the pivot table analyze. Here in pivot table analyze you can click on pivot chart again, and as you can see the charts that you need come here. Here now there are different categories about chart that you can have, but I choose the actually in the column and the clustered bar chart. I click on that, and now I have my diagram. As you see, this pivot chart is exactly the same logic that we had in the pivot table. I mean, since you have the hierarchical pivot table, and in each category you have more detail about segments, exactly the same logic you can have in your diagram. For example, you see that here the category furniture, office suppliers, and technology are on top of the each segment, and you can analyze your data. And as you know, if you want to have more data about the labels, you can put this one, and in order to make it more visible we can omit the grid line and other characteristic that you are looking for. Furthermore, if you want to omit these decimals, you can change the format of these columns that we talked about them. And for your report you can even omit the grid line and headings in order to be more visible. In this tutorial just we wanted to show you pivot chart is nothing than the pivot table in the visual way. And as you can have your pivot table based on the analytics that you're looking for, you can have your pivot chart which is more appropriate for your reports about data. I hope that this tutorial would be useful for you. I'm looking forward to you in other upcoming videos.